Hello everyone, welcome to episode 4 of No Nonsense Whiskey Reviews. Now today we're going to be trying something a little bit different than what we've been trying previously. A lot of it's been Speyside whiskey with sherry casks and things like that, all very good stuff that I like. Now we're going to move on to something wildly different, and that's a bourbon whiskey. Now before I tried this, the only kind of example of bourbon kind of whiskey, Kentucky whiskey I had was Jack Daniels. A lot of people will be breathing through their teeth there, so I tried this because it's really cheap in UK supermarkets, around £20 a bottle. I've never seen it more than that. It never usually needs to be on deal. So I thought I'd give this a go, and as you can see, I've thoroughly enjoyed it and saved the last little dribble for my review. Now, a couple of things about bourbon, specifically straight bourbon, is that obviously it needs to be produced in the United States. Now you'll probably find that they have to be over sort of 51% corn, and they also have to be made in new charred oak barrels. It has to be new, every single one has to be new. This is beneficial to the UK market because we buy a lot of the ex-bourbon casks for cheap because they can't be used again in America. So we get them imported over, and it helps our market out a lot, and we can then pass them on to be used again and be different things like beers, whiskey beers, things like that. On top of that, there's a load of gubbins about how it can be distilled no more than like 80% and barreled at a certain percent. I think then it can't be bottled until it's like 40%. All these things are on Wikipedia. You can have a look at that if you're really interested. The interesting thing about straight bourbon, other than normal bourbon, is that it has to be in a barrel for a minimum of 2 years. So straight away you can tell from this one here, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey spelled with an E, must be in a barrel for at least 2 years, and then what they do after that's up to them. Okay, so now we've talked about bourbon a little bit, let's have a quick look at the bottle. Really nice, Buffalo Trace, buffaloes on it, 40% as said before. On the back of the bottle, a lot of words about the distillery itself. I won't go into that. If you're into that, you can have a look for yourself on the internet. And apart from that, not much else on here, apart from obviously the key information as said before, the straight, no age statement, so it could be whatever. And that's about it for the bottle. Okay, so let's go straight on to pouring the glass. I think I might finish it today. Yeah, get it all in there. Shame, must get another one. Okay, so it's very similar in colour to what we've seen before, as you might expect from an oak-aged barrel. It's extremely fruity. In my limited experience of bourbon, this is kind of what you get from it all. I'm not sure what they put into it to make it this. It does, smell in a similar way to Jack Daniels, but obviously without the kind of sickly smell that you get from that. Okay, let's have a little taste of it. Well, like I said before, incredibly fruity. Has a lot more flavours than the stuff we've been looking at so far, which is really kind of basic, your basic single malts. This incredibly fruity, very smooth, really easy to drink. It's quite difficult to pick out kind of individual flavours. But then that's not really what these views are all about. That's up for you guys to have a look at, I think. And I think considering that it's about £20, I don't think there's any reason why you shouldn't buy it. Especially if you're into your Jack Daniels and things like that. The increase in price from the Jack Daniels to this is completely minimal. £20. is basically nothing for a decent bottle of whiskey these days. And on the plus side, you can do lots of things with bourbon. I've made some slow cooked gammon in a bourbon glaze. It's absolutely superb. Well, there we go, a nice quick one today. First foray into bourbons. I should hopefully have a couple more lined up so we can see the difference between the two. But certainly for an entry level, as I said again, £20 a bottle, perfect to go in for that. I see no reason why nobody should just give it a go, really. If you don't like it, then it's not so much wasted. You can keep it in your cupboard, use it for mixers if you must, or even give it to a friend. I'm sure they won't mind it. So as always, thank you for watching. Likes and subscribes are always appreciated. You can click this little card just above me to subscribe, and then in just a few seconds there'll be another little card coming up here which will be for a playlist for the rest of the videos. Feel free to give them a click and have a look. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you again on a No Nonsense Whiskey review.